What's good, Chaotic Nation? It's your boy Chaos here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're bringing you another video. You guys have really liked this style of video where I'm just kind of talking about things and figuring out ideas that I want to talk through, or different conversations that I've had in streams or in content. By the way, go to the links in the description. You can follow me over on twitch.tv/chaos6 for live streams, as well as we do them here on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed and you leave a like on this video so you don't miss any of that stuff going forward. But enough of that. Into what I want to talk about today, which is why Pokemon games are bad. Now, I'm not going to say Pokemon games are just bad in general, because they are getting better as we go along through the generations, but they're bad because they don't hold the value of being a Pokemon game like they used to back when we were kids and we started playing Pokemon. I started playing Pokemon in Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green that came out around 2004, 2005. So that era was when I really got my first Game Boy, the first time I really got to play Pokemon. I'd seen Pokemon before, I'd watched it anime before that. It was my first time really experiencing Pokemon as a player and as a game, and eventually it becoming my favorite franchise. But now we have a very different formula for Pokemon. There's so many different mechanics that have been added to the game, so many changes that have been added to the game, as in new typings, new battle styles, new kinds of Pokemon, new evolutions for Pokemon. There's so many different things that Game Freak has tried to do with Pokemon that has made it reinvent itself and change some things here and there that, has worked in some cases and not so much in other cases. I mean, we even had a hard reboot almost in Generation 5 with Kanto Pokemon or Johto Pokemon or Hoenn Pokemon or Sinnoh Pokemon showing up in the Unova region in the first series of that game, which was Black and White. But eventually everything would come back. And I think it's just them trying to experiment. Okay, what happens if we reset the Pokemon franchise? And obviously not many of us like that, because Black and White at the time were some of the least received games out there. Like, many people did not like them because there was no Pokemon they were familiar with. There was a whole new roster of Pokemon, which was awesome because we got like 100 something new Pokemon, the most we've received since the original generation. Our favorites were gone, and I think Pokemon realized that when they were creating that game, so we've seen all the Pokemon come back in every single generation since then. But what I really wanted to talk about today is the latest couple of releases in Pokemon, specifically like Switch era Pokemon, because I think that is really where these games started to lose their edge. So Let's Go was a created game in order to make people who played the mobile app Pokemon Go watch and be participants in the actual series of Pokemon games. So it was a money stunt that they used to get people to play the games, which was fine because, who doesn't like playing Kanto? It was great. It was a lot of fun, but it had very similar mechanics to the Pokemon Go mobile game, which worked fine. It was okay. Like, the game wasn't revolutionary or anything like that. We haven't seen a new Let's Go game, and I don't think we ever will, because Let's Go was based off of the mobile game, and the mobile game not doing so great right now. So when it had hype, it made sense to do that and to reinvent that as the first Switch game, but it kind of lost its luster after that. Pokemon Sword and Shield came out right afterwards, and I think honestly this is the best Switch game that they have made. It was really well done. They created a really interesting story. They created a cool new feature in Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, which I still don't like because it makes Pokemon overpowered. But it's a cool idea and a cool a concept for a new kind of battle mechanic. Yeah, it was cool for a new kind of battle mechanic, but it did have some issues leading into what the next thing would be. There was obviously, how do we go on from this? What's next? What do we do to change it? How do we get more kind of battle mechanics in the future? And when does Dynamax and Gigantamax show up in the other games in this generation? Ultimately, at the end of the day, Sword and Shield did really well. It started overworld Pokemon, which we've still seen in the latest updates and all those moving forward. It reinvented some ways to catch legendaries. It gave us some really cool features. It showed us DLC. So all of that stuff was really great and phenomenal, and Sword and Shield did a wonderful job being a Pokemon game on the Switch. After that, it kind of went downhill. Pokemon games haven't been the same since Sword and Shield, and I don't think there ever will be again, because Game Freak is trying some different things and not succeeding or not doing it very well. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were really the first games that kind of showed us that, hey, they don't really care about making these games anymore, in my opinion. They outsourced Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pokemon to another company that had worked with them in the past to make Pokemon home models, which was fine and cool use your resources to make more Pokemon games. Let us have more games. That's fine. It's what a lot of the other fans want. But they did it in such a way that nothing really changed from the original games, and the game does not work as well as it did in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum are so much better games than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Sure, they made the final trainers harder, and there's a little bit of a difficulty spike in the game now because of all the new mechanics and all the new things they've added and new move sets and updating all this other things. But the game doesn't function as well as the original ones did. Like there was so much fun playing Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum that you just don't get with BDSP. Like I've played pretty much every Pokemon game multiple times, and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the only games that I've only played twice. Once was my original playthrough, which I did over on my Twitch channel, where I did a type lock, and then I played it again for the best team for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that we did here on the YouTube channel. After that, I really haven't had a desire to play the game again. Sure, a lot of the newer games have that kind of feel where it's like, okay, they're still kind of recent. I played them recently, so I don't really want to play them again. But even with the latest releases, like I've wanted to do multiple series on them. I want to play the game multiple times. Like Sword and Shield, I played probably 4 times within the span of 2 months because I did my original playthrough. I did a Nuzlocke of it. I did a surprise lock of the game, and then I did a series with my friend Image Tortuga on a Soul Link of the series. So we've probably played that game so many times in the first like 2 or 3 months that the game was out that it was kind of ludicrous at that point. And one of the reasons why I haven't played Sword and Shield. But Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl didn't have that reception for me. I played through it the first time and I really hated playing through the game. Now part of it I understand was like me doing a stream and me doing a series on it when the game came out because I felt like I was forced to. Because everybody, when you are a Pokemon creator, covers the new content. They're always streaming. We're all streaming. We're all doing something. We're all trying to get you to watch our content. I just didn't really like that for BDSP. It didn't work out for me. It was a fun run. We had a good time. I got a full-on shiny Geodude, which was really awesome and great, which started me getting a bunch of them in the future. But that's a different video. I think the game just didn't do anything well because every single release of Pokemon after their initial game did something to update the game. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was really the first step back. Sure, they updated a few features that made the game a little bit better. They put some platinum elements into it, but not a lot. The game really just felt like a step back, and it really felt like a slap in the face because everybody had been waiting for Sinnoh remakes, and to outsource the game like that and to not really update it or give it anything new was kind of disheartening for some of the fans who really liked Sinnoh, and it made me really dislike Sinnoh. It's probably my least favorite region now, mostly because of BDSP. It's still fun, but has a lot of issues. Legends Arceus was the biggest change that we could have seen, and it was great because we finally got an open world Pokemon game, which we've been asking for since forever. Like, who doesn't want to be like Ash Ketchum in the anime, running around with your Pikachu and taking on the world and seeing Pokemon in the overworld and catching them and all that fun stuff? It was great. The story was phenomenal, but the replayability of that game really is not there. I played through it the first time and had a really great time playing it. Second time I played through the game was a shiny lock, and it was still fun. It was tedious. Like, I struggled to play through Legends Arceus the second time just because there was no really good elements that kept me around playing it, and I was like, okay, we're playing through the story, which I already know what the story is. I've already played the story. I played it recently. Like, I played maybe my Shiny Badge Quest 6 months after I started the original playthrough, but there was nothing really keeping me to play Legends Arceus again after I'd beaten it the first time. And I really think this is what Pokemon has done. They've taken away a lot of the elements that make Pokemon games really fun. Like, trainers are optional. There's not even battles in Legends Arceus, really. And the battles aren't fair because the strong style and the agile style are really cool elements, but they make the game completely busted when it comes to a turn-based system. So it kind of ruined the strategy of battling in that game. And this is even extended further into the latest releases, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There is no requirement to fight any trainers. There's no random static pop-up Pokemon, which I think Sword and Shield did really well with having both the random encounters and having the overworld Pokemon, because you could choose to run into something, you could try to avoid it, but you still have the chance of something random popping up. And it still had routes, which made it really fun to have to try to go through. Like, one of the best things about Nuzlocke is when you're trying to avoid a trainer in order to get to the next area without having to do a battle or anything like that. that is so much fun and a great element of Pokemon because they're required fights. You don't have a chance to avoid it. You're training your team, you're getting stronger, and it's just a part of playing Pokemon. Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet don't do that. When I first did my Scarlet and Violet playthrough, I did a surprise lock. Even through that playthrough, I didn't have to train up my team. In fact, I was over leveled most of the game because of having Pokemon that were traded to me from a different OT, which means they get experience faster and they level up faster, which again is my own problem. But I didn't fight any trainers. I didn't catch any wild Pokemon besides the ones I was trading away. So I really didn't have to try to play the game, and I could kind of just do the story, which isn't what I want in a Pokemon experience. I think this is why Pokemon games are becoming bad. The Pokemon experience is not there anymore. When we were kids, it was all about we're going to catch these creatures, we're going to train them up, we're going to have them join our team, and they're going to grow and evolve with us as we go through our journey. They're going to get us through every tough battle. We're going to fight many trainers, and we're going to become the best. Pokemon now is how fast can I complete this game so I can get news covered on it and we can get to the next Pokemon game. That's what I feel like. It's not a fun experience. It doesn't allow you to really invest yourself into your character, to build a bond with your team, and experience Pokemon the way it was originally experienced. You felt like you were really part of the games, like it was a journey. Sure, it took you some time, which is good, but you felt like it was a journey that you were doing, and your team became really good members. Like a lot of these newer Pokemon, I don't have fond memories of because they were just kind of there on my team and helped me get through the game. But I didn't grow with them. Like I didn't fight this one trainer that almost destroyed my entire team and had somebody come out of the shadows and become an MVP of my team and win that battle for me. Like I didn't have that. I had those experiences with older gens. I had those experiences with different games. And then the newer ones just don't hold that experience there anymore. It's like we're just playing a story, and I could read a book, I could watch a movie, and have a better time than playing Pokemon. This video really comes out of when the DLC for Scarlet and Violet came out for the Blueberry Academy, which is the Indigo Disc DLC. I wanted to play a shooter more than my favorite game franchise. That was a problem. That is a problem when my favorite game franchise is not the thing I want to play, but I want to play something that really is not valuable. Like, it's a shooter. There's no progression with the game. You're just redoing the same thing over and over again. It's fun. It's still enjoyable, but you're not doing something to proceed in the game. You're just doing the same thing over and over again. You're getting better, but you're not really training like you would with Pokemon. And I feel like that's an issue that we have with Pokemon. There's a lot of controversy now with Scarlet and Violet about shinies are too easy, or overworld Pokemon make shinies too easy, or like this and that. But I really think the issue that we have with these new Pokemon games is they don't feel like Pokemon games. They feel like open world simulations. And I understand that Breath of the Wild put a lot of pressure on every other franchise to really invent open world games that you could explore anywhere. But that works for Zelda. That doesn't work for Pokemon, because Pokemon is required to follow a linear track. I do think that there is a possibility for an open world Pokemon game. I've talked about what if Sword and Shield got remakes. There's a video on that I will link to this video that you can click on if you want to see my thoughts about how I think an open world Pokemon game could really work. But I really think that Game Freak trying to force an open world Pokemon game has let it miss some elements that are really important, because Pokemon ultimately in the anime showcased a lot of battling. Sure, later seasons showed like contests and those kinds of things, but it really was about the battling. It was really about how Ash overcame these battles and figured out how to beat the gym leaders and progressed to try to become the champion. And that was originally the idea, I feel like, that was behind Pokemon. Sure, the plot was catch every Pokemon according to the game, but the anime really shifted us into being the best trainer that we could possibly be. And I think many of us watched that and are inspired by the journey of Ash to want to be the best trainer. We just don't have that experience anymore. The games feel easy. The games feel like they're not challenging. And I think that's because we're missing out on all these elements of battles that were so much fun, even though we were required to do them when we hated them, or the grinding that we had to do that we do not like. I get it. I don't like grinding in video games, but sometimes it's worthwhile to do grinding because it makes you experience the game more fully. These newer games don't have those experiences for me. And I think if Pokemon continues down this track, we're just going to keep getting worse and worse games that feel like they're not motivated, that they are just kind of put out into the realm to make money. And companies that are solely influenced by money don't tend to put out great quality products for their consumers. That's what we need. we've been calling for so many changes and updates to Pokemon games that would have made them better if they were implemented correctly. But Game Freak, I don't feel like is taking the time to really listen to what we're saying. Sure, open world Pokemon games finally happened, but they were done in such a way that wasn't good. I mean, the gym system for one. Like, I want to challenge any gym in any order. I don't want to have the gyms be a static level. I want it to be like the anime where we see Brock's like, oh, you're a first time trainer. Let me use 2 Pokemon instead of my, Rhydon that's sitting in the back ready to destroy you. No, I'm going to use my Geodude and Onix, which are kind of weak. We want that kind of experience. And I think until Game Freak listens to us, they're going to continue making these subpar games that really aren't that enjoyable. Honestly, I don't see myself playing a lot more Pokemon if that's the case. I've been noticing it with my Twitch stuff. I've been switching to some non-Pokemon stuff. I'm still doing Nuzlocke and playthroughs and shiny hunting, all that stuff, so you can go check that out over on Twitch. But there's other games that I want to play too. And for the story, for their exploring element, Pokemon just kind of lost that luster for me. And I think many of us feel the same way. Of course, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching this video and listening to my little conversation on why Pokemon games are getting worse. I feel like there's a really good chance for them to do better in the future. Honestly, the world is pretty open for what they could do next. Scarlet and Violet DLCs are done now, which means maybe it's time for a new remake. Maybe it's time for a Unova game. Maybe it's time for Let's Go Johto or something like that. Another Legends game. Who knows what they could do right now? It's so open and there's so many possibilities. I just hope that whatever the next game is, they take some elements of the things that we want to see and really focus on making a good quality game. So at the end of the day, I feel like they haven't put as much time into these latest entries as they have to the previous ones. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, comment section down below. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. It makes my day when I see a comment come through my phone on my notifications on YouTube. So please feel free to do that. Thank you again for all the support you've done over the last couple of years. Look forward to more incredible videos here in 2024. And I want to thank you again for choosing to take your time of your day to watch this video from me. If you have any thoughts, comment section down below. Like and subscribe as always. Check out my links for more. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Discord, and I have another YouTube channel, Invisible Corporations, which I have a new series coming out soon. So please come check that out, and I will see you next time. So until then, my name is Chaos. I'm signing off. Stay safe, and as always, burn it up.